naturally.
All the pros felt this hole was a rather inconsistent hole to try to judge. Well, he didn't need the ace, but got it anyway.
So we said this man is capable of streaks now. He started off with 2 aces in the back 9. Let's see if he can keep it up. Match is now even through 11. 12th hole. This is the one that we were talking about earlier, that no one has aced in the entire series. You can see why.
Well, there's 4 shots, ricochet shots right here that we'll see. One.
That's in. That's in.
Is it?
He could have put this tournament in very good shape had he made that. He thought he had it.
If Talkin would have done it, he'd have had him an ace. Settles for his par.
Well, that's one most of the pros feel that if you could get an ace here, you really do put a nail in the coffin, because very difficult for your opponent to match it. Entirely different play that time.
He does. Oh! There it is, our first ace on this hole in this tournament.
Gary played it differently than anybody's played it so far in the tournament.
Mark can't believe it. Look at him. Did you see him look up at the sky and shake his head?
That is a big turnaround.
That could be the pivotal hole in this match. We'll see what happens. English with the honors as we go to 13, side hill hole here.
Billy, this is your favorite hole, I think, and it's mine. A beautiful.
You know, I wasn't surprised to see Gary miss that, because he had to be pumped up a great deal. And one of the things about playing in this tournament is that the emotions, you don't have time to regroup yourself. You know, you're right on to the next hole. Gary was pumped up and just a little strong.
Gets his par on number 13, but again leaving the door open for Marc Portugal to tie him with an ace.
Mark sometimes use a liquid ball on this hole because he feels that it comes off the rail better for him, slides a little better. Don't know if he's changed or not, but
pressure beginning to mount now.
See that wind?
You can see the gust, yes. Wind gusts are coming. Left rail. Up an incline to a cup on the incline.
And he's got it.
Beautiful execution.
Got number 12 back.
3 aces and 4 holes on the back 9 for young Mark English. Matches even, rather, for Marc Portugal. Matches even. We're at 14.
This is an interesting putt. It's about 28 feet in length.
See the ball is falling off the tee marker right now.
Right. Put it to the left rail, up a 4-inch rise over 8 feet to a cup at the top of that on a plateau. Beautiful execution.
He almost beat that to the hole. Chasing after it. Yet another ace for Portugal.
Mark gets those real streaks going, and could be very tough for Gary to hang on here.
Well, he's had aces on every hole on the back 9 except number 12 is Portugal. And English.
Oh, and he's got a real difficult shot here. He's out of business unless he can. Of course,
doesn't make any difference.
Doesn't make any difference with the ace, but had that would have been one of those shots where he had to ricochet just to get around the obstacle.
So Portugal is now in the lead, and this is the first time in this final match that he has been up on English.
I think the gallery's getting a little tense too.
Number 15. Straight shot. Watch the point.
Hit it. Hit it.
That's almost impossible to do that. He
was
got it by the point and ended up on the right-hand side of the cup.
He was hoping, actually, I think that maybe it would have creased the point. It would have veered it off a bit to the left, enough to get it into the cup. Gary English, 1 down. Ace would tie the match. Going into the final 3 holes.
Stay there.
Doesn't get it.
He wanted it.
So we're down to 3 holes now, with Marc Portugal leading Gary English 1 up in this championship match.
You've got to remember, one of those, of course, is 17, and they've all had a pretty good time with that hole. 18's not an ace hole, so this next one is really key.
16 is 3 obstacles and a hill in front of the last obstacle.
Pros rate this as one of the toughest out here, along with number 5.
I'd almost use that hill a little bit to throw the ball into the cup.
ace here would put Mark in very good shape. He didn't get it.
Hit the last obstacle and leaves himself a tough par putt. Oh, that would have put him in great shape. Would have assured him of going to the final 2 holes with a 1-up lead. He gets his par. But again, English with a chance to tie and regain honors.
It's amazing. We've had every match look like it's come right down to number 18. They all made it at least that far throughout the tournament.
It's been the greatest series of competition we've had. Every match has been a tight one.
Well, I think Mark's in pretty good shape right now.
Well, English couldn't take advantage of it. Gave him the opening there, but couldn't come up with the ace. So Mark Portugal remains 1 up, 2 holes left to play. 17 considered by many as one of the easier, if not the easiest hole in the golf course. Certainly the shortest hole in the golf course.
Just a little slight bank off of that pipe that's sticking up right in their way. You're right when you said deliberate, Frank, because he does take his time. Look at him working on it.
A big ace there because it assures him of going to 18 1 up.
Gary really...
He's got to have this.
Yeah, he's got to have this. In addition to that, of course, he's got to make an ace on a very difficult number 18 hole.
So we go to the final hole. Mark Portugal is 1 up. This is the table and shoot hole. You got to ramp it pretty hard to get it up the chute to the upper level. And normally it's a next to impossible hole to ace. You take your par here and walk away. So you'd think Portugal's in pretty good shape.
Well, if he makes an ace,
he's home free, but he doesn't. So he has a par putt upcoming. And that will put the heat now.
Now this is the
on
shot.
Gary English. He has to ace this to send it into sudden death. Otherwise, Portugal is our champion and winner of the $10,000 top prize. Got to go for the ace or it's all over.
Every match went to the 18th hole or further. No chance.
No chance at all. That's it. And so our champion is Mark Portugal from Waco, Texas, and we'll be back in just a moment. Well, it's been a great series, great finish. Here's Billy with our runner-up, Gary English.
Well, Gary, congratulations. Nobody had an ace on any hole, number 12, throughout the entire tournament. You put that little Japanese English on for us, but then what happened to 13?
Well, I got all pumped up after I made that shot on 12 and just hit 13 too hard.
Well, it's not all bad. David?
It's a pleasure, Gary, on behalf of the PPA to present you a trophy symbolic of runner-up for the Super Putters TV series, and perhaps more importantly, your check for $2,500. Thank you. Congratulations, Gary.
How about our winner, Frank?
Well, let's talk to the man who won the big prize, $10,000 worth. And that, of course, is Mark Portugal. Mark is a high school student in Waco, Texas. What are you going to tell the guys back at school when you come home with $10,000?
They're not going to believe it, that's for sure. I'm going to tell them, just went out, played that silly, what they call a silly little game called putt-putt, and won $10,000.
What was the turning point, in your opinion?
In my opinion, the turning point was probably when he missed 15. I thought he hit a good putt, and I thought, my match would be back to even, and it ended up lipping out, and so, not much you can do there. I thought he hit a super putt. Gary played great.
The rain make any difference, surface and all?
Well, the carpets were a little damp, and that kept the scores, up a little more than they were past weeks. When it's damp like that, the courses just don't roll as good as it does when it's hot.
Well, David?
Make the present.